Hi, it's Bernard Nomberg with the Nomberg Law Firm in Birmingham, and we're doing a series of videos here, informative videos that discuss coronavirus or COVID-19 related issues that impact employment, whether it's workers' comp, OSHA, unemployment, eligibility for certain benefits, and the like. And what I want to do is take a couple of minutes and address a new act or new law that just went into effect or was passed a week or so ago that will take effect April 2nd and run, at least for now, through December 31st of 2020. Congress recently passed what is known as the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, and there's really two main components to it. The first one is the Emergency Family and Medical Leave Expansion Act, and the second one is the Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act. And I'm going to address both and give you the highlights, and I'll put below the video links so you can read in further detail. For the Emergency FMLA Expansion Act, traditionally, an employee must work for a year and at least 1,250 hours to obtain unpaid leave. However, now, under this emergency FMLA, an employee only has to work 30 days to be eligible for paid leave. Traditionally, all employers with 50 or more employees must provide this unpaid leave. Under this Emergency Act, however, all employers with fewer than 500 employees must provide such leave. An employee is only entitled to paid leave if they have a qualifying need for leave, which means the employee is unable to work or telework due to the need for leave for care of a son or daughter under the age of 18 of the employee, if the school or place of care has been closed or the child care provider of the child is unavailable due to this public health emergency. The first period of leave required by the Emergency FMLA is a 10-day period of unpaid leave. During that time, the employee can substitute vacation, personal, or sick leave to be paid, but the employer cannot require the employee to do so. After 10 days, the employer is required to provide 10 weeks of leave paid at 2/3 of the employee's regular rate of pay. The revised act limits the dollar amount of paid leave to $200 per day or $10,000 in the aggregate. Lastly, for the Emergency FMLA Expanded Act, the act authorized the Secretary of Labor to enact regulations exempting employers with fewer than 50 employees if the leave would jeopardize the viability of their business as a going concern. Generally, employers must restore employees to their prior positions after the expiration of the need for the leave. There is an exception for employers with fewer than 25 employees if the employee's position is no longer exists due to operational changes occasioned by the public health emergency, for example, turned down in business. So that's the Emergency FMLA Expansion Act. Moving on to the Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act. There is no 30-day payroll requirement. All employees are immediately eligible for this leave. Any employer with fewer than 500 employees must provide emergency paid sick leave. Unlike the Emergency FMLA, there are numerous qualifying reasons for the leave. The employee must be unable to work or telework because of one of the following, and there's 6 that I'm going to list. The employee is subject to federal, state, or local quarantine or isolation order related to COVID-19. A lot of areas, including my hometown in Birmingham, we have a shelter in place right now. The employee has been advised by a healthcare provider to self-quarantine due to concerns related to COVID-19. Number 3, the employee is experiencing symptoms from COVID-19 and is seeking medical diagnosis. Number 4, the employee is caring for an individual who's subject to quarantine or isolation order or has been advised to self-quarantine due to COVID-19. Number 5, the employee is caring for a son or daughter whose school or place of care is closed, or the child care provider is unavailable due to COVID-19 precautions. And number 6, the employee is experiencing substantial similar conditions as specified by the Secretary of Health and Human Services in consultation with the Secretaries of Labor and Treasury. That's kind of a catch-all. Full-time employees are entitled to 80 hours, which is 2 weeks, of paid sick leave. Part-time employees are entitled to leave qualifying, equaling the number of hours the employee weeks on average over a 2-week period. The monetary limits are different for both, and these are always subject to change. Lastly, the Act includes a refundable tax credit for employers who are required to provide emergency FMLA or emergency sick paid leave. These credits will only be awarded to covered employers and not to larger employers who gratuitously offer such leave. Now, this Act goes into effect on April 2nd. I'll put a link below here so that you can read further if you're an employer or employee who's got these issues or concerns. You're always welcome to reach out to us at 205-930-6900 is our office number. Nomberglaw.com is our website. If you like this video, please consider giving us a thumbs up and telling us why. And if you didn't, we want to hear about that as well. We're always trying to do better here. Subscribing to our channel will ensure that you get future videos that come out either daily or weekly. We also can be found on Facebook and Twitter.